Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Spring Pest and Rifle Fever. I'm here today to talk to you about easy cocking, easy shooting break barrel air rifles, because there's a lot of people that have shoulder injuries, which makes it hard for them to cock the barrel. So if you're one of those, this video is for you. It could be that you don't feel like you're strong enough. There's going to be a few air rifles that I'm going to suggest for you that are easy to cock. If you can afford it, the HW30S in 177 cal. And now this is going to be for Pest, so it's going to be shooting as flat as possible when you're shooting at your small game. So you're going to want a smaller caliber for Pest, like snakes or ground squirrels. Somebody had mentioned or asked a question, what should I get? I have a snake problem. I don't want my neighbors to hear me. I've got a snake problem. My shoulder hurts, so it's hard to cock those big Magnum break barrel air rifles. This is my son's Stoeger S3000C. I had this in a few videos, I think a few years ago. I modified the buttstock. That's part of a crock off a shoe. I cut it to fit because it's a lot thinner and smaller. The buttstock that comes with this, it's like over an inch thick. It's very thick. So for a smaller person or a child that has trouble reaching, this will help improve their shooting. So the trigger on this is not the greatest. This rifle also is known as the XS12. So I don't know how to say the brand name very well. Visico, I think. So this is exactly what it is. Other air rifles I would suggest for you that have shoulder problems and stuff would be like the Diana 240 or the Diana 11. And I really believe they're probably all the same air rifle. Now, these are not packed full of power, but I think this is probably close to 6 foot-pounds of energy. I haven't chronographed it in a while, but I do have a tin can here to try out. So I'm going to be using the Going Extinct Crossman Premier Hollow Point pellets. They're 7.9 grain. I seem to be able to do pretty decent at 15 yards here. I have on a cruddy Hatson Optima scope. So it's Hatson labeled, but it's actually out of China. So it's not a great scope. If you want a better scope, I would suggest a Leapers or a BSA scope. They have some really good ones. The 4x32 has an adjustable objective on front. So I want to demonstrate how easy this is to cock. With my pinky alone, I can cock this very easily. I'm not struggling at all. This rifle decocks. The Diana 240, Diana 11, those all decock. These are Chinese break barrels. And so yeah, they're Chinese break barrels, so they're cheaper. So there's going to be a few things that you want to look for or that you want to do when you get one of these. You want to clean the barrel very thoroughly and then take a push rod and push a pellet through the barrel slowly with the barrel inverted like that. That way, if you have a bad barrel, the pellet will free fall. It'll fall all the way through and you'll know that it's not a good barrel. You'll want to look for burrs right there on the breech and potentially on the muzzle end. So you can take a Q-tip. You can take a Q-tip and put it in there and pull. And if it's catching anything, it's not as important on this side as it is on the muzzle side, because this is the last end for the pellet to come out. So with this rifle, the trigger was really stiff, and it has a pin there to push out right here, right under this screw. Right there we go. So hard for me to see. Right under there, you take that off. You take these two stock screws off, and then there is like a nut that you unscrew there, and you punch that pin out, put some pressure against that, put some pressure against this, pop that pin out, and then your whole trigger assembly comes out. It's got a little groove. when the piston comes back, it's the sear. So the piston comes back, boom, and it locks it into place. When you pull the trigger, it rocks forward. The piston gets propelled down the compression tube, and a little puff of air pushes your pellet out through the barrel. So that's basically how it works. In that little sear, you want to put some grease right there. It's going to make shooting your air rifle much more easy. So I think I've said pretty much everything I could think of about this rifle. Like I said, it's super easy to cock. It's got open sights, and this will make for a great ground squirrel. Now the ranges are going to be closer, of course, within 20-25 yards. This will make a great ground squirrel or snake gun. So if you got some sort of pest problem, it'll take care of it for you. This is an accurate rifle. The trigger is just a single stage, but I greased it up, and you can see if we can watch it here. Make sure I got my finger on camera. So I'll pull it as slowly as I can. Right there is just a tiny bit of resistance and just a little bit of trigger travel, and that's no problem. So like I said, this is so easy to cock. I can cock this all day long with my pinky. I don't suggest you do that. I suggest you wrap your hand around it to do that. But I have a card set up here at 15 yards. We'll see what kind of group I can get. I'll do a 10-shot group. You'll be looking back at me. Then we'll put the can up and we'll blast that a few times and see what it does for damage on the can. And my rule of thumb for something like a ground squirrel or a cottontail or a snake, it has to be able to penetrate at least one side. Now this is a really hard tin, so if it can penetrate that, it'll penetrate your pest problem and take care of the problem. We're going to move you downrange now. Well, I think it's got the accuracy. A penny over 10 shots completely covers that group. I do have a dime here, but I don't think the dime quite covers it. Really, really, really close. So I think it's pretty good. Power wise, does it have enough power for a snake or a ground squirrel or a cottontail? I think so. They weren't punching all the way through the other side. You could see the little dimples there. But once it punches through a ground squirrel's head or a cottontail's head, it's not going to matter if the pellet doesn't go all the way through. Cottontail's head is much softer than that. Ground squirrel is a pretty soft-bodied animal, easy to take out. So any of these junior rifles, even some of the pump pneumatic ones like the Daisy 880, they're all going to be good for that type of stuff. Just make sure that you test it out. You test a handful of pellets. Make sure that you have the accuracy there. One other thing I wanted to show about this rifle, if the barrel falls on its own in the cocked position, you should always have your hand here just in case. Then you need to take it out of the stock, and there's a little bolt that runs through here. Take it out, take some alcohol, clean it up, clean up the threads that go through the cocking fork right there. That's the cocking fork, what this goes in between. And clean all that up, add some blue Loctite, and put it back together. Don't use any permanent thread locker in case you ever want to take it apart further. This is very easy to take apart air rifle. You can take it apart and tune it a little bit. It's fun. But I just wanted to share that with people that have sore shoulders. I know about all these injuries. As I get older, I get more and more injuries. I got a nice spasm thing going on my neck if I use my right hand in certain positions. So I think I got a pinched nerve. It's not a lot of fun as you get older, but it doesn't mean that we can't continue to have fun. Sometimes we just might have to modify what we're doing and do what we can do. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I'd highly appreciate it if you would subscribe. Give it a like, and I hope you all have a great weekend, or whatever time you see this video. God bless every one of you.